Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the MMM Nigeria Guided School. This is batch 2017-10-13, or batch 15, group 1. My name is Mentor Lukman, and this is our evening meeting for day 3. All right, guys, so without further ado, I think you know the drill by now. This meeting is mainly a question and answer session. If I can just say a little something about day 3 before we begin with the questions and answers. Out in the morning, I hope you all read it. I hope you are reading my emails because it contains information that can only help you. So day 3, I'd said, was quite a challenging day because there are quite a few tasks that you need to complete. All right. Essentially, and there's a couple of videos that you have to make, so it just makes it that much more challenging. So I don't want you guys panicking about this. Up to now, you've been able to submit all your tasks for the day on the day, and you're done with it. But day 3, I don't expect everybody to be able to complete all the tasks today. So I don't want you panicking and thinking that you haven't finished your tasks and you can't proceed. The task that you don't finish today, you can finish it tomorrow or whenever you want to. The challenge for some people recording and uploading videos as well. So it's definitely not an expectation that you will need to finish all the tasks today. All right, so I don't want you panicking. Just take your time, do the tasks, use the lesson guidelines, make sure that especially your videos, make sure that everything that is required in the lesson guidelines is covered in your video, because I've said if your task that you submit does not meet all the requirements on the lesson guidelines, it won't be marked and you'll have to redo it. And there's nothing more annoying than having to redo videos. So don't rush. I mean, there's some of you that want to quickly submit your task, but it does no credit to you. Take your time, do the task properly, and make sure that it's correct rather than quick. All right, it will only save you the time. So, I mean, it wastes both of our time if you rush to submit a task. It wastes my time because I have to watch the video, if it's 5 or 10 minutes, whatever the case is. And I find out it doesn't meet all the requirements, and then I have to tell you to go and redo it. Then you have to spend time redoing the video, and I have to spend time watching it again. I'd rather watch each video once, it's correct, and mark it correct, and then we can all move on. Okay, so don't think that I enjoy marking your tasks down. There's some of you that I see are getting frustrated because I've marked your tasks incorrect and you have to go and do it again. It's not my intention to frustrate you. It is my intention, however, that you finish this course to become the best guider. I'm not here to just push guiders through for the sake of having guiders. Okay, there's a lot of guiders in the MMM community. My concern is producing quality guiders, so by the time you're done with the course, you'll have grasped all the knowledge that we are here to offer, and that you can become quality guiders. All right. So if you're just here to just get your guidership, to get your state change to guider, and you're not really interested in the school, then I'm sorry, you've just got the wrong mentor here. All right. That's not the way I operate. All right. So I'm about quality. So your tasks have to be done to the right level of quality for it to be approved. If it's not, you're going to have to redo it until it meets my standards. All right. So don't rush through the tasks. Take your time and do it. There's no rule. There is no how can I put it? The task don't lock out if you don't complete it in the day. So if you don't complete any of the tasks for day 3 today, it doesn't mean that you cannot complete it tomorrow or any other day. It remains open indefinitely. So I've had students that started the school with us and we're going along nicely, and then something happens, a family member gets ill or an emergency happens and they have to abandon the lessons. They can be gone and come back 2-3 weeks later and pick up where they left off, complete the tasks. They'll still get marked and they still graduate and become guiders. All right. So there's no rush. However, I'm just going to put a disclaimer here that on day 5, which is the business games task, it's a team task, a group task. All right. So unless it's a dire emergency, you will have to participate in the business games with the rest of your group, and you have to stick to the schedule there. All right, because it's a group task, so we can't one person can't postpone a task for everybody. All right, so just make sure that when it comes to day 5 of the business games that you're available and you're participating. It is a very important aspect of this guided school. If you don't participate in the business games, you will not graduate. Okay, I've had students that just took that warning lightly. They were flippant about the business games. They didn't participate. They were just not there. And then when everybody was graduating and getting their certificates, they came back and said, "What about me?" So I said, "Well, you didn't participate in the business games, so you're not going to graduate." All right, so it obviously causes a lot of hassle because now we have to sort of like make it up for them to do the business games again. And it's just a mission, and it's going to cause you more pain because if you don't participate with your group, you're going to have to do it individually. And, there's all the pressure is on you. All right, so take my warning seriously. Make sure that you are available for the business games to participate with your group. And make sure that you do participate. All right, so that's just what I wanted to say about day 3, the fact that you don't have to put yourself under pressure to complete all the tasks today. You can continue tomorrow if you don't. There are obviously tasks for tomorrow as well. If you want to do those and then come back to the day 3 tasks that you didn't complete and complete them, it's up to you. It's really not a train smash that you have to stick to completing the tasks in the day. All right, so that's just what I wanted to say. I hope it makes sense. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions. As always, if you're in the Hangout session, you have a question, you can either unmute your microphone and ask your question. Everybody will hear your question and then I'll answer it. Or if you prefer to, you can just type your question into the chat area on Hangouts and I'll read out your question. For those of you that are in the on the YouTube live stream, I see there's a couple of you there. You can simply type out your question into the live chat area on YouTube because you are listening in, but we're not able to hear you. So if you're on the live stream, you just type out your question on the live stream chat area and I'll read it out to you. All right, if you prefer to, you can type your question also in Skype on the group chat. I'll also be able to see it there and read it out, or you can type out your question in the school chat room. All right, so there's so many different ways that you can ask your question. So you can ask your question now. The floor is yours. I'm going to give it a few minutes for questions, and if there are no questions, then I'll end the meeting. All right, the floor is yours. Okay, guys, the floor is open for questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll wait a few more minutes for questions. You can ask questions about anything regarding the guided school. It doesn't necessarily have to be about today's task. It could be even tasks from previous days or anything about the school that you don't understand. Okay, got a question from Sunday on the Hangouts. It says, I'm right by putting the link to my SWOT analysis uploaded to YouTube, where the SWOT analysis is supposed to be. Okay, I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly, but it seems like you're asking if you're okay to do your SWOT analysis as a video and upload it on YouTube. That's not what is required for this task. You need to do your SWOT analysis in a Google document and then submit the link to the Google document on the task. Okay, so what's required to submit is the link to the document, not to the video. For your own, if you want for your own sake and your own sort of promotion of MMM, you can do a video on YouTube and share it with your friends and whatnot. But for the task submission, I need a link to the document, to the Google document, not the YouTube video. Okay, I hope that answers the question. Okay, Emeka is going to comment about the service being bad. Yeah, unfortunately, guys, I've been a mentor for a long time, and the one persistent question or complaint is always about network connectivity, especially with the meetings and the videos and whatnot. So I understand that. Unfortunately, it's out of my control, or the school's control. It's also out of your control. I understand. It's just wherever you are, the network. You might just not have a strong network connection. So sorry about that, and you just have to do the best that you can with what you have. Not sticky about the meetings. It's great for you to attend a meeting so you can get to ask your questions and get first-hand information. But if the network doesn't permit, then it's just unfortunate. The meetings are always recorded on YouTube, so after the meeting, you can always go back and rewatch the video of the meeting and see what you've missed. Yeah, the only thing is during the business games, there'll be the time for presentations, and for that there'll be sort of a need for a strong enough network connectivity that you can do your presentation. But it's not everybody that needs to do the presentation. I'll explain more about the business games in tomorrow's meeting. It's going to work is we're going to have you're going to split you up into groups, and each group is going to have a representative, and that representative you're going to elect for yourself within your group. You're going to choose, you're going to decide who your representative is going to be. This needs to have a decent network connectivity because the representative is going to present the business games for the group. So it's always a good idea to choose somebody who has at least a stable network connection. But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about the unstable network connectivity. Okay, just waiting to see if anybody else has any questions. Okay, Sunday, let's see what he's saying. I did it in Google Docs and I uploaded it before putting the link to where there is add completed message. Okay, initially I copied everything to add completed message, but you sent me a message to correct it and before I put the link. Okay, yeah, so that's fine. So if you've put the link in for the document, then you just have to wait for me to mark it. So I'm coming around to it. I'm busy marking the people's tasks. I mean, to be fair, I marked the tasks of the people whose tasks have not been marked yet. And then when I'm done, I come back around and I remark those that have submitted corrections because they were marked incorrect and they have to redo it. So I have to take, I have to sort of make it fair. It's not fair for me to go back and mark your task when there are those that their task haven't been even marked yet. All right, so you just have to be patient for me to come back around to marking the task again. Okay, I'm just checking if there are any questions in any of the groups or the chat rooms. Okay, I think just to indicate to me that if you want to ask a question, just maybe type your name first, and so that I know that I must wait for you to ask a question. Okay, those are in the Hangouts chat room. In the Hangouts on the YouTube live stream. Remember, you can use the chat area, the live chat area, to ask your questions. If you want to ask a question on Skype, you may do so as well. Okay, I see some comments on Skype. So yeah, like I was saying in the beginning, the tasks are a bit challenging, but they're not impossible. Okay, I've had previous students, and quite a huge number of them have completed the tasks and graduated. So it's not, the tasks are not impossible, but might be challenging, but they're not impossible. So like I said, just don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed. Take your time, do it slowly, and you guys use the lesson guidelines. I can't say that often enough. The lesson guidelines are your friend. It will tell you exactly what to do so that you don't waste time doing things that are not necessary. And it will help you to stay on track so that you can do quiet, so that your task can be marked correctly. So use the lesson guidelines. I send a link. I've sent a link every day in the email. You must check the email that you use to register for the school, because that is the email address that I send the emails to. And in there is the link to the lesson guidelines. If your task is marked incorrect, when I leave a comment, I put it to the lesson guidelines as well. So refer to it and use that as your basis. If you do that and just follow the steps, you will complete the task correctly. All right. If you're struggling, watch the video, the tutorial video for that task. Each task has a video assigned to it, in which I've explained to you how to do the task. I've taken you in a video. I've shown you how to complete the task. So watch that video. It'll help you. Okay. There's none of these tasks that is impossible to do. Okay. So just use the lesson guidelines and you will be able to complete the task. Take your time and do it right, okay? Okay, so looks like all questions have been asked. I don't see anybody else with a question. So I think for that, I can bring the meeting to an end. Of course, if you still have questions, you can use the Skype chat room or the school chat room to ask your questions, and I'll answer them when I if I see a question, I'll answer it. All right, so thanks for joining me today, guys. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same time. Until then, have a great evening.